Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Stinson and I'm with Global Human Resources Outsourcing, and today I want to talk to you about my book, A Practical Guide to Human Resources Management. We're going to talk about Chapter 12, which is how to manage them internationally. So some things to consider. You'll be relocating employees internationally, and these people are called expatriates. They're U.S. citizens located overseas. And it's important that you pick the right person because the cost of an expatriate is about 2 to 3 times their base salary, so you don't want to be making too many mistakes. Another thing to consider is when you are done with that assignment and you bring the employee back to the company, you want to make sure that they get an assignment that is worthy of their skills and that you don't just put them in whatever job is available. Some things that will mess up an overseas assignment, for example, first is culture shock. Even though a person might have had experience in the Asian community, if they go to Asia, it's a very different situation. That would be true of Europe as well. While it may seem very similar to the United States, in fact, it's very, very different. And another mistake that a lot of companies make is they don't provide what's called pre-departure training. And the employees, as well as their family, need to be trained to understand not just the culture, but what to expect when they get over there. Sometimes things as simple as buying groceries can be very, very different. Another mistake that sometimes companies make when picking the person to work internationally is they have too much emphasis on the technical skills. And obviously that's important because you're sending somebody overseas to do something. But consider their leadership ability and consider their culture and their ability to adjust to other cultures. One of the primary reasons that overseas assignments fail is because of family issues. The husband or the wife is going to work every day, they're busy, they're challenged, but the spouse that's staying at home often can't get a work permit and gets bored and becomes a problem. And then another thing to consider in an overseas assignment is compensation. Everything needs to be in writing, and it'll have to include things you might not be used to here in the United States, such as schools for the kids. There are usually housing allowances. Depending upon where they are, there might be difficult pay, kinds of pay schemes and so forth. And over time, the goal, of course, is to replace your expatriates with local nationals. So you want to pick somebody that has the ability to mentor and train the local nationals to take over your facility. So some rules of the game. The first and foremost is think globally but manage locally. And what I mean by that is corporate policies, procedures, culture, mission statements, those are great. But you have to find a way to take those and tailor them to the local community. The second thing, don't believe everything you hear. You'll be told by local nationals mostly things you can't do. My experience has been most of the time that's not exactly true, and you have to do your homework and make sure you have good legal counsel in these countries, because oftentimes you can do the difficult things you need to do. You just have to do it per their laws. Now the third thing is don't fall into the religion trap. Do your homework. For example, Muslims are supposed to pray 5 times a day. But do they have to do this, all 5 of these prayers at work? Well, the answer is no. So you need to do some homework and find out how to overcome some of those from a productivity perspective. The fourth thing is, remember, the paradigm overseas is a little bit different, and the way you behave here may be different than the way you're going to have to behave overseas, and you may find people overseas that are behaving very different than what you're used to, and you have to adjust to that. The fifth thing is you really can't hold them accountable, and one of the myths that I hear all the time is, well, we're in a third world country and the people don't want to work very hard. But the reality is they will if they're given proper leadership and training and direction. So don't accept that idea of who might actually come from a tired, burned out expatriate, that it is what it is and you can't change it, because my experience has been you absolutely can. And then last but not least, always remember, this is a human resources situation. People are people. And yeah, are they different? Absolutely. But they're not from another planet. So if you take the time to get to know them and understand them, you'll do just fine. Thank you very much.